first and foremost, I think it's important to understand where we've come in terms of mitochondria. And I want to give you mitochondrial evolution, or the origin of mitochondria, which is something called the endosymbiont theory. But I think we first have to recognize that mitochondria used to be their own separate bacterium. Before there was multicellular organisms, there was a bunch of just bacteria roaming the planet. And the earth was different, right? We didn't have the same amount of oxygen. There was no plant life. And so the oxygen levels were scarce. A certain type of bacterium figured out how to really efficiently utilize the scarce oxygen levels to make important things to thrive. It was this little bacterium who said, wow, these are some harsh conditions, but I figured out how to extract just enough oxygen from my environment to be able to make ATP, infrared, and water. And it comes across another single-celled organism. This little mitochondria says, well, the conditions are pretty harsh, but I've really figured out how to extract oxygen and turn it into usable stuff. My only issue is that these conditions are harsh, right? There's lots of toxic fumes in the air, and there's these heat vents, right? It's a really harsh environment that I'm living in right now. Well, so this bacterium says, well, guess what? I actually have a really protective membrane. If there's excessive heat, excessive cold, I'm really, really good at withstanding that. But I'm really, really impressed that you've been able to get that oxygen. It's hard for me to turn that oxygen into something that's useful for me to thrive. And so the story goes that this bacterium and this bacterium made a deal. This one said, you know what? How about I protect you? And you then don't have to worry about protecting yourself against the harsh conditions, but you can then use the oxygen in the atmosphere, and you can go ahead and make energy and water and infrared and all the things that we need in order to thrive together. This one that had a stronger membrane engulfed this one, and that's how they started to thrive. It's why our mitochondria these days still retain their own DNA. And now these days we have mitochondria inside of us because of that very reason.